Hello out there, all you bucks and buckaroos. This is Dave, old Buck Dave, that is, and I'm
And this
here with
old Buck Dell.
old Buck Dale. Hey, I got a couple London stories, a couple London layover stories to tell you. Uh, these are kind of interesting. Both when I had a London layover. One was basically I spent an extra day in London, and the second time was just an overnighter. The first time I was going to meet a trader in London, and then we were going to fly somewhere else together. And
In England?
well, we're flying from London to somewhere else, and I don't remember where we were going.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
but anyway, I got there early in the morning. You get into there about 6 or 7 a.m. their time. It was an easy train ride to the hotel, and I thought, well, best thing to do is just stay awake and have a day of it here. I went to the tube. I thought I'm going to go down, tour London a little bit, walk around London. So the underground, the subway, they call it the tube.
Yeah, the
So I
tube.
go down there, and I'm looking. I've got my little map, and I'm looking at all the information on the stations on the wall. And this elderly couple comes up to me, and they said, "Excuse me, this is our first time in London, and we're trying to figure out how to work this thing, and we want to go down. So we want to go downtown." I said, "Well, I'm not from here either, but you know what? I'll bet between us we can figure this out." So we did. We figured we got on the train, and we got off at different stops anyway. That was that, or so I thought. So in that afternoon, I've had lunch, and now I'm walking around Hyde Park, and who do I run into? This same couple. Unbelievable. What are the odds? And oh, hi, how you doing? Blah blah blah. So
And and Hyde Park is it's a pretty much a
it's a
destination.
big like
Yeah,
a big public park there. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So for dinner that night, I met this other fella, and I looked in across the street at the Palace Theater. Les Miserables was playing. So, and I had seen Les Miserables in Vancouver, British Columbia. Really loved it. It was,
And it is Les Miserables, not Les Miserables.
well, it was not. You're you are correct, sir. Yeah.
Anyhow,
So I'm telling. So anyway,
I can't spell.
but you're good at math.
Yeah, I'm good at math.
Okay.
Uh,
So I said to him, I said, "Oh man, that was a great show. We ought to," and just then it was intermission. People were coming out. I said, "Listen, we need to go in and see the second half of this show." I said, "You're really going to love it." And he said, "Well, how are we going to do that? We don't have tickets." I said, "Oh, come on, come on."
oh,
I
you are
said, I said it.
brave.
I said it will become apparent whether or not the gods are with us tonight. We're outside with everybody, and people start walking back in. I said, "Look, we're just going in with everybody." And I said, "Look, let's go down the side. Don't go down the middle. We'll go down the side because those are the kind of less desirable seats. There's a better chance that there's going to be some seats there." And he's real hesitant about this whole thing. We get halfway
This
down.
this reminds me of Shades of
Yeah.
1964 when the
So,
trouble you got us all in with it.
whoa, which
Yeah,
time?
there's something about you
Which time?
that
So we're standing there, and I see there's a couple empty seats there. And I said to him, I said, "Those are going to be our seats. Just watch." And I turned around, and who was there? The the elderly couple. They spotted me. They were attending the musical. They spotted me. They came down, and we started chatting. We had a great chat. I introduced them to my friend. And, then they're flashing the lights to everybody to get seated, and people are starting to settle in. And sure enough, those two seats remained empty. I said, "There you go, Mel. These are our seats." So we watched the second act. It was great.
unbelievable.
So that's
So
my.
you could have still been, well, you'd have probably been out in 30 days.
I mean, what's the worst they could do?
Yeah, they
They
could
could
throw you,
say,
ask you to
"Excuse
leave.
me,
So I'm
you're
sorry. You're wrong.
excuse.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I
I
got the
belong
wrong
in the
night."
balcony.
Yeah, I'm an American. What do I know?
You
Yeah,
brave soul. What an
yeah.
adventure. Oh, But
So
then again, I
yeah.
know that adventurous streak in you. All right, that's the
Yeah.
shades of 1964.
You
Oh
got
yeah,
me.
let's go there and do that. Yeah.
Fake it
Oh
till you
yeah.
make it, huh?
Yeah.
So my other London story. This was an overnight layover, and I was on my way home. I'm staying at a hotel out by the airport. I don't have any desire to go in town, do anything. I just wanted to get home. So I'm at the hotel bar having a drink after dinner there, and I see guys keep coming in and out of this door in this adjoining banquet room, essentially, to the bar there. And I finally said to the one guy, I said, "Hey, what's going on? I see lots of people going in and out of here." And he says, "Oh, this is we're the UK BMW dealers, and BMW is introducing their 5 Series to the UK, and this is like the big introduction party." And I thought, wow.
Yeah. Oh,
So, so,
you
so
rascal, you.
I said, "I'm coming with you." He said, "Whatever." So I went into the party. Gloria Gaynor was up on stage singing "I Will Survive." And there must have been 500 guys in there, and 10 women. All the guys are dancing with guys. I mean, that's all you had to dance with. So I was there for a while, talked to some people, had some hors d'oeuvres, had a couple drinks, and went to bed. But
Did you see a 5 Series? Did they have a car there?
they did, yeah, yeah. They had a couple of them parked in there, yeah, for people to ogle. But it was just a big party. And again, I thought, if you don't, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Unbelievable.
So that was
Unbelievable.
those are my gate crasher stories.
Those are great adventures. That's the kind of stuff. I mean, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Well, I
Giving
know
you
you've
credit.
you've
Giving
got
you-
stories. You're probably you're legally bound to not tell them. I mean, my stories, I'm sure, pale in comparison to your stories.
Nah, I'm a good boy. So, but I admire your chutzpah. But that reminds me when we were growing up. I mean, you knew me as a boy. I'm thinking back now, all those traits. Yeah, let's go do that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Try that. Yeah, yeah.
What's
Go
the
ahead.
word?
See if you can do 100 miles
Yeah.
an hour in this thing. So. Anyhow,
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
We live to tell about it.
Yeah, you're a brother to me.
And likewise.
You're a streamer, and you mentioned to me you discovered some
I'm a streamer.
some adventurous stories or
Yeah, I've
plot?
got some movies or some series that I have stumbled across recently, and I really like them. And I'd be happy to share my findings with you and our listeners.
Yeah,
Our listeners. I think our listeners still out there. So the first
do you
one,
got?
first one I'd like to recommend is a series that's on Acorn. Now Acorn is Acorn costs you $5 a month. It's out there, and it's foreign stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There you go.
That's foreign stuff.
That's why it doesn't ring a bell.
And the first one I'd like to recommend is called Wisting, Wisting, and it's a Norwegian crime series, and it involves a detective Wisting, and it involves hunting a serial killer, and it's getting the U.S. FBI involved, and it's got a lot of plot twists and subplots. It's really well done. I think the stark cold sceneries really help it too. So I would strongly recommend this. I give it 5 stars, and that's on Acorn.
So to convert that into American, it's like Columbo's name is Whisking, and he's a crime solver. So Whisking is the man.
It'd be like a depressed Columbo, I think. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That could be interesting.
Columbo,
I know Columbo.
Columbo on Valium or something.
Oh, there
you
go. All right.
Yeah. Now, of course, it has subtitles. It's subtitled, so, and they're easy to read. So
See, that makes me want to look for it because I know Columbo, and if it's somebody Columbo on Valium, that's got to be a really interesting. So
okay,
all right, 5 stars. I
5 stars. Okay, here's another one. This one's on Netflix. This is called Lupin. This is a French mystery series. This guy's a professional thief, and he's out to avenge a wrongful conviction of his father several years before. And it's pretty well done. There's a lot of sleight of hand stuff. I'd give this guy 4 stars. It's not quite a Wisting, but it's it's a lot of fun to watch. And again, it's subtitled, so that's Lupin, Netflix.
Is it a continuous series? It's like 12 episodes or?
It is, yes. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's got one or two seasons at this point. I'm kind of 6 or 7 episodes in here, so but it's fun to watch. Okay.
Okay. 4 stars.
4 stars. All right. Here's the quickie. Midnight Diner. This is in Japanese. This is on Netflix, and it's these are like 25-minute episodes of stuff that happens in this to the patrons of this diner that opens at midnight. It's really cute. I find it really relaxing. They show you at least one menu item every episode, or they show you how to cook one item. So it's kind of interesting. I find it relaxing. Maybe not 5 stars, but it's always fun to watch.
That sounds like my big idea of I call it the number 17. Everything that happens on this one bus, the people that come in and out. Because if you have a restaurant that only opens at midnight, you got a strange crowd from the get-go.
Yeah.
So
Tell me about Bus 17. Now, is this something that you're dreaming up?
no, this was a storyline.
This was a real story?
Yeah, you always have a famous actor who's the driver, and he doesn't do nothing more than really pretend to be driving and opening the door. But all this drama of the people coming in and out throughout the day and various conditions and shapes and sizes and looks and I mean, you could put a plot line. Everybody has a story.
Okay. So is this on Netflix, or where did you watch this?
No, I didn't watch it. I just made it up in my head.
You just made it up. Oh,
that's one of my big ideas.
It is a big idea. What are we doing wasting our time podcasting?
I used to ride
you could be making a series, the 17 bus.
Yeah, the number 17.
I like that. I really like that idea.
This is so funny that the drivers, I would say to the drivers, I said, "You mean you don't keep a diary of all this?" He said, "If I did, I'd have volumes." He said, "Because you can't believe the characters that ride the number 17." And I went, "There you go." I'm sure that's true of all kind of. Every city has got a number 17.
Yeah, every city's got a 17.
If somebody doesn't pick up on this one and run with it, we don't have any big ideas. We'll never be going to become infamous.
That's huge. I'm telling you.
You have any more that you like?
I've got one more here that I'll throw out, and I just saw this the other day, and I stumbled across this on Netflix. It was like their hidden gems or something like. And the name of it is Clarence Clemens. Who Do I Think I Am? All right. This is actually in English, all right? And this is absolutely 5 stars. It's a rock documentary. Well, it's not really. It's a documentary. Clarence Clemens, he was the sax player for Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, yeah.
E Street Band.
Yeah.
And, you watch a lot of these documentaries about rock stars, and they're all the same. Grew up poor, got the band together, made $1 million, did drugs, got divorced 7 times, got put in jail, got out of jail, made some more music. It's like they're all the same. This guy's story is just fascinating. It shows it's Clarence before Bruce and with Bruce, and they were like brothers. Mm-hmm. And what he did after that, and searching for meaning in life. It's really, really well done. I thought I would really recommend this one. Clarence Clemens, Who Do I Think I Am, on Netflix.
Talk about Netflix. Since they're producing a lot of their own stuff, I see some of the advertisements on them, and I got to give them credit. Some of the stuff is pretty creative, and it must be either to protect the rights of, the publishing rights of that particular, or it could be more mature. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some of the titles and stuff like that, I would think would really be fascinating to watch. But anyhow, I don't subscribe to too much streaming because I try not to watch too much anything with a screen on it. But it sounds good, and I accept your 5-star rating on that one.
Thank you.
In fact, anything you recommend, I know is good, from books to streaming. If you recommend it, I know I could try.
Yeah, we haven't had any book reports lately, have we?
I'm reading one now. I'm reading one now by
Mm-hmm.
a man by the name of Giles. It's kind of interesting, but uh, I can see a plot twist here that reminds me of another story. I'm thinking, I know what's going to happen next. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it slowly. I don't plow through
Okay.
them. If I
Okay.
get a good one, I'll let you know.
I'm rereading an old book right now. It's called The Watch. It's a collection of short stories by Rick Bass. He's just a great storyteller, a great writer. And this was his first short story collection that came out probably 20 years ago. I'm enjoying it as much now as I did when I bought it when it was new. And
Hmm.
so there's a guy I would recommend, Rick Bass, particularly his short stories.
Where do you keep all them books? In your library there?
I do.
Or all over the place?
Well, yeah, I got a little lecture the other day. You've got books on the table, you've got books on the counter, you got books on your desk. You know how it goes. You got books under the bed.
I know the ones I drop
You
on
know
the
how that
countertop there.
goes.
I don't know where they go, but I know they go somewhere. I mean, well, anytime you have a good idea on books, I'm always interested in that because, like I said, you've thrown some real great stories my way. I appreciate it.
Speaking of stories, of course, you know that April is National Poetry Month. Of
I,
course, you
I,
know that.
I did not know that, but
Well, I mean, but you did know that our producer signed both of us a favorite poem to read. That was like our assignment for this episode, and
okay, I can
could,
accommodate that.
you can do that. So you did find a poem that you liked.
I have a poem.
All right. So would you like to present that as your contribution to
You
National
want me to go?
Poetry
Oh,
Month?
you want me to
I
go
want
first?
you to
Okay.
read the thing. Yeah, tell us about it.
Well, I got my poem actually on a bit short notice, and the easiest place I found to get poetry would be of interest to me is the New Yorker magazine. They always have a couple poems in it. Actually, I like the New Yorker magazine. I don't have any way to say I read. They have some interesting stories, and certainly the cartoons are hilarious. But anyhow, there's some poetry, so I grabbed one there. I'll read it to you
All right. You got
as
to
my
tell us what it is.
contribution to the month,
All right. Go for it, buddy.
and
This
it's
is
by a
this is
man named Simon Armitage.
okay.
It was in the September 28th issue 2020 of the New Yorker, and it's called Before the Raised Eyebrows. So, all your listeners, picture me as Alistair Cook sitting in a big chair. I'm going to use my best Alistair Cook poetry voice.
You got your tweedy
Yeah.
sport jacket on with
Yeah, you picture all that. Yeah, imagine all that if you would,
patches on the
please.
elbows. Yeah, yeah.
That'll lend credence to this. I think this might even be a British writer. We'll see. But it says, Before the raised eyebrows. Before the raised eyebrows and the big tut tut. Did any of you lot ever actually truly try burning a book? You have to attend, poker and stoke, make flames go leaping page to page, drive oxygen into the gills till a sheaf peels open, exposing its sheets to the blaze. Get the parchments wadded, involved to surrender in turn until the effacements begin before the retractions of ink. Even then, some charred erratum or index floats off through the trees. Some ashen verse or black edged stanza gets raked from the layers of sludge after rain. How many books did I burn? Scores? Whose books? Whose books did you burn? Reader, I burnt yours.
Ooh,
Now,
nice,
how about that for diction,
nice.
articulation?
That was excellent. It was a pretty good poem too.
That wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Book
Book
burning,
burning.
and
That's a
all the dimensions associated with that. That's pretty.
actually I tried to burn a book once. I thought I could just get rid of it. and,
Was
and
this?
he's absolutely right. You have to sit there and turn the pages, burn practically one at a time because it won't burn.
It's not.
So,
It's not as easy as you think.
well, I hope I
It's
have
interesting. Yeah.
contributed to the poetry for this month. So, what do you have? What was your?
Okay. Well, I also have a poem. Now, I picked out a poem by Jim Daniels. This is a fellow who teaches at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. Now, he's from Detroit originally, but he's been a burger for a lot of years. And a lot of his poetry really keys on blue collar themes. And I got to see him probably, boy, I'll bet 20 years ago, maybe, I went to a reading that he gave at University of Pittsburgh. And I really like the tenor of his stuff. This is not necessarily a blue collar poem here. This is more about fathers and sons and growing up and just kind of doing the best we can.
Okay.
All right. Now it's called Dim by Jim Daniels. Today, my son realized that someone's smarter than him. Not me or his mom. He still thinks we know everything. One of the other kids, Nathan, making fun of him at the computer terminal for screwing up at the math game. Other kids laughing at him. 2nd grade. I'm never going to be as smart as him, he says. I'm never going to be as smart as half of my students if we're talking IQs. He doesn't want me to explain. He wants me to acknowledge that he's dumb. He's lying in bed and taking his glasses off and on, trying to get them perfectly clean for the morning. I'm looking around his dark room for a joke or some decent words to lay on him. His eyes are glassy with almost tears. 2nd grade. The world wants to call on him. I take his hand in mine. That's the end. I think it's a real touching, it's a real touching.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of some of the kind of stuff we find out, we all bump into at one time. There's always somebody smarter than us, better looking than us. And how do we deal with it,
I mean, it just, when you read a text or something, it's just one thing, but somehow poetry can take a subject and add a dimension to it and I didn't get this for a long time, I admit. I didn't get it for a long time, but they can add a dimension to some topic that when you think about it is more meaningful or more touching than anything else. And you think, wow, never would have looked at it that way. So no, that was good. And that's our contribution to.
Those are our contributions to National Poetry Month. 2 good choices, I think. I like them both. And to our listeners out there, suggesting you hug a poem today, let us know what your favorite poems are, and maybe Dale, that's Dale of the husky satin voice, will read it for you. He didn't know that till I just said that.
Hey, I got to tell you, I'm on a remote Zoom, don't you?
I know you're. I know you're on a remote Zoom.
Yeah, and
because I launched a call. I just don't know where you are.
You might hear some pretty wild background. I'm in a public library in Dunedin, Florida.
Dunedin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there are people moving in and out. So if you hear some doors slamming and some other things going
alligators,
on, you'll know that's why.
All right. So we'll let you skate on that.
I don't think anybody here knows that I'm actually recording all this. So
you're out of the Columbia Resources.
Oh yeah, I moved out of that direction some time ago. This is a cheaper broadcast booth.
Okay. So you had mentioned we did a thing on your big ideas the other day, but I don't think we got through all of them. You got any other big ideas you wanted to talk about?
So you mentioned a big idea. I had another thought. In my ever quest to become infamous, and as you say, famous.
Yes.
Yeah, famous.
We've already checked the infamous box.
I thought we could do commercials. I said, Dave and Dale could do commercials for people, whether radio. It certainly could do radio commercials. I don't know. Maybe one of the listeners will forward us to Duke's mayonnaise or one of them other products that we touted. Hey,
by the way, I tried your recipe.
I did. Yeah,
I tried it. Peanut butter, mayonnaise. Tomatoes. It was edible. Yeah, it definitely. I'm not sure I'd be serving it up at Sunday brunch, but it was all right. Yeah,
but 9:00 at night when there's nothing else in the fridge.
Yeah. Oh, we got a note from one of our listeners, by the way, and he's touting peanut butter, dill pickle slices, and mayonnaise. He says,
I've done that too. That's
Miracle Whip. He said.
Yeah, that's a good.
You've done that too, huh?
Oh, so he's see, there's a question of the preference on even on the mayonnaise. Anyhow, it is all edible, and it's one of those emergency situation things where you just want to, top up some. some
Just
protein or something. But yeah,
pop
all
up some
good stuff.
protein. Okay, but let's talk
So
about commercials. Tell me more about commercials.
so I said, oh, we could do commercials. I said, someone ought to be contacting two old bucks and say, listen, we want you guys to write up a commercial for a product. And if it's for the radio, we could do 30 seconds or a minute or whatever it is, because we have both talent and skill. And off the top
And
of
we're
my head,
broke and we need the money.
yeah.
Right?
Do you know what the difference between talent and skill is?
I think you're going to tell me.
Actually, it's a very thin line, I think, because I think talent is the ability to tell other people what they do wrong, and skill is making them believe you.
Okay. I never thought of it that way.
That's
a better definition than
That's
mine.
a good definition.
That's a good definition.
Anyhow, so I'm off the wall, and now I'm thinking commercials, right? One of my big ideas at 7:30 in the morning, something which I didn't bother troubling you with. So,
and I appreciate it.
So then I'm thinking commercials. What commercial? I mean, can you pick one out of the top of your head that out of all the commercials and all the life we've paid since whenever television came on to now, can you remember a commercial that sticks with you instantly, that just right off the top of your head? Tell me one.
Instantly.
Well, it just comes right up.
Of course, I can't remember anything more than about a month old, but I kind of enjoy watching these insurance commercials on TV.
Well, they're clever.
They're clever. They're clever, and they've got they're kind of serialized. But anyway, yeah, I think they're pretty clever. They're competing with each other for our accounts.
But I'm looking for that one.
You're looking for a classic.
Lifetime. I'm looking for the one in your lifetime.
Well, then you must have one.
I do have one. I'm going to tell you what it is.
Tell me what it is.
This is a commercial. There was no speaking. There was a car steering wheel. Picture this. Imagine this. You're looking at a very plain white background. There's a car steering wheel, and you can only see 3/4 of it. You can't see the hub.
Okay.
On the steering wheel, at the very apex at 12 o'clock, on this round circle, is a little white mouse.
A live mouse?
Me so far. A little live mouse.
A little squeaker. Okay.
Right. So
on the steering wheel.
On the steering wheel.
I'm with you.
The mouse is on the steering wheel. So what does the mouse decide to do? The mouse wants to get off, right? So the mouse starts to walk in one direction. And as the mouse is walking, the steering wheel is turning underneath him. So he stays in the same position. So the mouse stopped.
Ah, it's like a gyro mouse.
Okay. So the mouse stopped, realized he can't go that way.
Okay.
So he faces the other direction and he starts walking. And the steering wheel was turning underneath him.
Going the other way. Okay.
Right. So the mouse is walking and he's making no progress either way.
This is in a frictionless world. I can see it now. Okay.
Right. And then a voice comes on and says, BMW now has power steering.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
That was the most memorable.
I like that.
I mean, that stuck in my head. I thought, what an unbelievable mind came up with that.
Honest. That's
BMW
good.
now has power steering, and this was way back, probably in their early '90s or something.
Never saw that
on a foreign television. On a foreign television. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, I was on a different television. The most amazing. I said, out of all the commercials, all the things I've seen, they come and they go. They have a very short lifespan in my mind, at least of mine, or a year or something.
And
then we're inundated with a whole new. But that one never ever left my mind. I said, unbelievable. I just said, who could have thought? But I believe, Dave, that we have the power to think like that. I think that something that clever is just right at the tip of our,
right there
between the two of us. Because we've done it many times, laughing over coffee on a.
I don't know what product do you think we could endorse?
Yeah, I don't. Well, we'll see who asks us. Whoever writes the two old bucks and says, we want you to do a commercial for us.
People think we rehearse this or something. I'm getting this dead on the same time they are. All right, so you're suggesting that we have a service here, or we're willing to do commercials for people for money, I presume, for money.
Well, they probably want to pay us because it would be so successful. We'd be inundated with other requests. I mean, let's face it. Now picture me holding my fingers real close together. We're just this close to being
Just
to
this
being
close.
famous. We get 3 more listeners, we'll have 10, and we
Well-
consider that to be we'll be ready to go.
Wait a minute, we have 7?
I don't know.
I didn't know we were that
We
high.
didn't even
That's
get to
great.
7. All right. Well, those 3
Okay.
people that love us out there, go ahead and if you happen to have a big company and you want us to do a
If you got
commercial
a lot of
for you,
money and a big company,
yeah,
we're here for you.
right.
BUCKSTWOOLD@gmail.com.
There you go. Anyhow, that's my
Yes.
big idea.
That's your big idea.
That's
Any
all I
other
got.
big ideas before?
No, not today.
Not today?
Oh, I did want to talk about ED.
ED.
But,
Whoa. You get kind of personal here, aren't you?
No, electrical.
I mean that stuff I
electrical-
said, that was for you only.
No, electrical distribution. I was
Electrical
fascinated.
distribution. Oh,
Yeah, I was
okay.
fascinated by the breakdown in the Texas
Well,
power system, and I have thoughts on how that
to
could
fix
be
it,
corrected.
or
Yeah, of course. I mean, I always
electrical
have a-
distribution. I can talk about that. Yeah.
yeah.
Or I can listen to you talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, we can do that for another
We'll
day.
do it. All right. We'll say
Someday say, "Hey, Dale, you want to talk about ED?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah,
Well,
electrical
all right. At
distribution."
least this time I got a warning. I'll be able to think about it a little bit. So I appreciate that. What we could do is, if you're out of big ideas for the moment, I know
For the
you've
moment, yeah.
got
For
more
the moment.
percolating all the time. Maybe we got a couple of letters from afar we could go over.
Yeah, let's.
You up for that?
I'm always curious because we put this stuff out there. I'm curious to see.
Okay.
What,
Now this is
people write about.
you're going to like this one. Now this is our an intrepid listener, Mary Jane from Hempfield. Isn't that perfect? Mary Jane from Hempfield. That's a real place, by the way. She forwarded us.
I went by there.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I went. I
You
went
didn't
by
know
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she forwarded us a newspaper article saying that Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, has landed in the spotted lanternfly quarantine zone, and it instructs residents to report sightings to the state agriculture department, et cetera, and it talks about sloppy eggs and all the mess they make and the danger. It's basically the stuff that you talked about last year when
Yes,
you were
indeedy.
sounding the
Yeah.
warning. So you were like Mr. Prescience, man. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Well,
you were ahead of the curve again.
yeah, that
A
article,
big idea of sorts.
that national that was in the Smithsonian magazine. I'll tell you, that really scared me. That that thing could destroy that much timber and trees and things.
Mhm.
I was thinking of a disaster for the agricultural sector if that thing gets out of hand. I mean, gee whiz.
Yeah.
So they got a warning.
yeah.
It's moving across
Yeah,
Pennsylvania
so thanks
from the eastern half to the. Oh
thanks
boy,
to Mary Jane for alerting us, and
there goes
hats
our
off-
national
hats off to
forest.
Dale, who's our lanternfly expert. Here's another
Well,
letter.
you heard it. You heard
I'm
it here
sorry.
first.
Heard it here. You did hear it here first.
Mhm.
So this is from Betty in Litchfield, home of the Bulldogs. I just visited Scott Haven out of curiosity. All the dwellings are just as they were in the Rocky days. So she's commenting on our story about Rocky. You remember you brought up Rocky's rib pit. And she says, I was driving, and as we drove further and further down the hill, I started to wonder where I was going to turn around safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. So finally, I found a spot outside of someone's trailer. So I did turn around, and no shotgun in my face, which was a relief. So that could happen in Scott Haven. She says, lo and behold, there was an old sign laying on the hill that advertised Rocky's menu with his namesake on top. Do you believe that? Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
I'm in awe.
Yeah. So let's. She
that
goes
even
on.
there.
She goes on. Atomic Batman, the insanity sauce, to say the very least. I felt like jumping out and stealing it, but I used my better judgment. Josie, that's her traveling companion. Josie told me that I was under surveillance cameras. Right. But the white bread was Ann Page from A&P. We both thought. And I think he got his ribs from A&P too. So I don't know. Maybe we stand corrected here.
Well, it's very similar in style, but
It's very similar.
I can't believe that. I mean, that's how I'll show you how remote that place was and what an effort you had to make to get down there and to get those ribs. And there's still a remnant of that all those years. That's got to be
Yeah.
what, 40 years, more than 40 years.
One of them-
55 years, 60 years.
Oh yeah, 60-ish, absolutely. Pretty scary.
Wow.
So
Well, thank that listener
thank
for
thank
giving us a
you,
tip. That is some real memorabilia
Eddie.
there. I'm telling you, that kind of
Yeah.
touches the old heartstrings
It's
there.
amazing. It's amazing where the tentacles of the old Bucks reach out to. That's
Well,
the end of the letters from afar.
so go ahead and invite any of our listeners out there from wherever to send their thoughts and suggestions about stuff that the old Bucks could talk about. And otherwise, what we're about to bid adieu.
We absolutely enjoy the letters from afar. BUCKSTWOOLD@gmail.com. So on that note, I will say I am Dave.
And I'm Del.
And we are the two old Bucks. Adios.